Everything you've been told about getting rich is wrong. The biggest reason most people never become wealthy has nothing to do with how much money they earn. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why people making $40,000 and people making $400,000 can end up in exactly the same financial position. That sounds ridiculous, because we've all been sold the exact same formula. Study hard, get a good job, work longer, hours, earn a promotion, make more money, and eventually you'll become rich. But there's a problem. Millions of people follow that exact plan and still spend their entire lives living from one paycheck to the next. Some make $40,000 a year. Others make $400,000. Yet somehow, both can feel completely broke. How is that possible? Because earning money and building wealth are not the same thing. Your income tells you how much money enters your life. Your financial level determines how much of that money stays, grows, and eventually buys back your freedom. There are 5 levels of wealth. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which level you're living on, why you may have been trapped there, and what you need to do to move forward. But there's one level that's more dangerous than all the others, not because people have nothing, but because they believe they're already doing well, and millions of people remain trapped there for the rest of their lives. Let's begin at the bottom. Level 1. Survival. Imagine getting paid and feeling broke before the money even reaches your bank account. That's what level 1 feels like. This is the stage where money disappears faster than it arrives, before your paycheck even reaches your bank account. Every part of it already has a destination: rent, food, bills, debt. Then the cycle starts again. One unexpected expense can throw your entire life into chaos. Your car breaks down. A medical bill arrives. Suddenly, you're borrowing money just to survive until the next paycheck. Most people assume the solution is simple: earn more. Sometimes that's true, but income is often only part of the problem, because when someone has no control over their spending, more money doesn't always create more security. It often creates more expensive habits. The 5 levels of wealth. Give someone with terrible financial systems an extra $2,000 every month, and within a year, there's a good chance that money will disappear too. Income can solve today's shortage, but only habits can prevent tomorrow's. That's why level 1 isn't just a money problem, it's a systems problem. At this level, you don't control your money controls you. And this is where many people make a serious mistake. They try to escape survival by chasing risky investments. Crypto they don't understand. Stock tips from strangers online. A business that will make them rich overnight. But when your financial foundation is unstable, chasing high returns can make things worse. The first step is painfully simple. Track every single thing you spend for the next 30 days. Every coffee, every subscription, every small expense you normally forget 5 minutes after. Making it. Don't judge yourself. Just collect the truth, because you cannot improve what you refuse to. Measure. Most people are shocked by the results, not because of one massive expense, but because of dozens of small decisions quietly consuming their income. The goal isn't to remove every enjoyable thing from your life. It's to decide consciously where your money goes, instead of wondering where it went. Once you create that control, you're ready to move forward. But the next level is where things become dangerous. If level 1 is about survival, level 2 is about illusion. Level 2, lifestyle inflation. This is the level where almost everyone gets stuck. Not because they're poor, because they think they've already escaped. Level 2 looks like progress. You have a steady job, your bills are usually paid on time, and maybe you even take a holiday once a year. From the outside, your life appears stable. So, naturally, you believe you're moving towards wealth. But behind the scenes, nothing is really growing. Every month begins the same way. The paycheck arrives, then the payments begin, and by the end of the month, almost everything is gone. Then you get a raise. For a moment, it feels like you've finally escaped. But instead of building a gap, your lifestyle immediately expands. A nicer home, a newer car, better restaurants. A year later, your bank account looks exactly the same. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's one of the most powerful wealth destroyers in the world. It's dangerous because you don't feel poor, you feel successful. But none of those upgrades necessarily make you wealthier. They just make your lifestyle more expensive to maintain, and the more expensive it becomes, the more dependent you are on your next paycheck. The 5 levels of wealth. Let me ask you a question. What if 2 people earned almost exactly the same amount of money for the next 20 years? Who do you think would end up wealthier? The answer has almost nothing to do with income. Imagine 2 friends, same age, same city, same university, similar starting salaries. On paper, identical positions. Every time the first friend gets a raise, he rewards himself. A nicer apartment, a better car, more expensive holidays. Nothing seems irresponsible. Each upgrade is affordable on his. New salary. The second friend does something far less exciting. Every time his salary increases, he increases his investments instead. His lifestyle improves slightly, but never as fast as his. Income. Nobody notices. His car isn't impressive, his social media doesn't impress anyone. 5 years pass. The first friend looks far more successful. 10 years pass. Something starts to shift. The second friend now has a portfolio producing income, savings that absorb, emergencies without stress, and the ability to take time off without panicking. 20 years pass. The first friend still needs his next paycheck to support the life he built. The second friend has enough assets to decide whether he wants to work at all. Their lives didn't separate because one earned dramatically more. They separated because one used his raises to buy appearances, while the other used them to buy freedom. That's the difference between looking rich and becoming wealthy. Here's the scary part. Neither friend noticed the difference for almost 10 years, because wealth grows quietly, until one day, it doesn't. It becomes impossible to ignore. Real wealth is usually invisible. You cannot see an emergency fund. You cannot see a paid-off debt. You cannot see an investment account growing quietly. That's why the wealthiest person in the room may not look like it, and the person trying hardest to look rich may be carrying the most debt. Never confuse luxury with wealth. Luxury is purchased. Wealth is built. To escape level 2, create a permanent gap between what you earn and what you spend. Start with whatever's realistic, 5%, 10%. The starting number matters less than the habit. Set up an automatic transfer on payday before you have a chance to spend it. Pay your future self first. Income pays your bills. Assets buy your freedom. If level 2 traps your income, level 3 protects it. Level 3, stability. The 5 levels of wealth. You have an emergency fund. You save consistently. An unexpected repair is frustrating, but it doesn't destroy your month. For someone who spent years worrying about every bill, this can feel like freedom. But it isn't financial freedom yet. It's financial safety. And there's an important difference. Safety protects you from going backwards. Wealth gives you the ability to move forward. Safety feels like success. That's why so many people stop climbing here. But safety alone has never created wealth. Many people reach level 3 and stop. They're so relieved to finally have money in the bank that they become terrified of doing anything with it. But something is happening. Quietly, inflation is reducing what that money can buy. Your balance may stay the same, but its real value shrinks every year. This doesn't mean risking your emergency fund. It stays safe and accessible. But once that foundation exists, extra money needs a different purpose. This is the turning point where you stop only protecting money and start learning how to grow it. You don't need to become a financial expert overnight or predict the next big stock. You need a basic understanding of how long-term investing works, what you're buying, the difference between investing and gambling, how fees affect returns. Knowledge doesn't remove risk, but it stops you from taking risks blindly. The goal at level 3 isn't to get rich quickly. It's to build a bridge between safety and growth. If level 3 protects your money, level 4 puts it to work. Level 4, growth. Poor people chase paychecks. Wealthy people build systems. This is where money finally begins working alongside you. You're still earning from your job, but now some income comes from assets, investments, property, business ownership, things that produce value without requiring another hour of your life every time you want to earn more. At first, the income may be tiny, maybe less in a month than you spend on dinner. That can feel disappointing, but the amount isn't what matters. The system is. Your time has a limit. Invested money doesn't sleep, doesn't take weekends off, and keeps compounding while you work, rest, or travel. Imagine investing $500 every month for 15 years. At first, progress feels slow. Most of. The growth comes from your own contributions, but gradually, the returns start producing. Returns of their own, and growth accelerates. Eventually, your money may earn more in a year than you contributed that year. That's the power of compounding. Not magic, just time, consistency, and reasonable returns working together. Compounding doesn't look impressive in year 1. It looks unstoppable in year 20. The 5 levels of wealth. This is why starting earlier can matter more than starting big. Time is the one ingredient you can never buy back. The real test isn't investing when markets are rising and everyone's optimistic. It's staying. Consistent when prices fall and everything in you wants to stop. Long-term wealth is rarely built by reacting emotionally to headlines. It's built by having a plan and continuing through. Uncertainty. At level 4, automate as much as possible. A fixed amount invested regularly, without relying on motivation. Slowly, your relationship with work shifts. You may not be free yet, but freedom stops being abstract. You can see it approaching. One important note here. Financial freedom isn't the same number for everyone. It depends on the life you want and what that life costs. Someone needing $10,000 a month requires far more assets than someone happy living on $3,000. That's why managing your lifestyle still matters even as your income grows. If level 4 grows your money, level 5 sets you free. Imagine waking up tomorrow, not because an alarm forced you to, not because bills are waiting, but because you choose how to spend your day. People think money buys luxury. It doesn't. Money buys time. Level 5. Financial freedom. This doesn't mean a mansion or a supercar. It doesn't mean never working again. Real. Financial freedom is much quieter. It means your assets can cover your essential lifestyle, without depending completely on your next paycheck. Many financially free people still work extremely hard. But the reason changes. They work because they choose to, not because missing one paycheck would put their life at risk. Financial freedom is the ability to leave a toxic workplace, to take time off when your family needs you, to pursue something meaningful that may not pay immediately, to say no, to wake up knowing money no longer makes every decision for you. That's what wealth is really buying. Not objects, options. The option to stay, to leave, to wait, to try, to say no. And here's the twist. Level 5 isn't created when your account finally hits a magic number. It's created by the habits you built at every level before it. The awareness from survival, the discipline from escaping lifestyle inflation, the patience from building stability, the consistency from growth. Skip those lessons and money may arrive before you're prepared to keep it. That's how people earn millions and still lose everything their income reached. Level 5, but their habits never left level 1. Remember the level I warned you about at the beginning? It wasn't survival. It wasn't stability. Marcus Reed, The 5 Levels of Wealth. It was level 2, because that's where people become comfortable enough to stop growing, but never wealthy enough to become free. Some people spend the next 40 years there without ever realizing they're trapped. Closing. Real wealth is usually boring. It's built through hundreds of ordinary decisions repeated for years. Saving when you don't feel like it, investing when the headlines are frightening, ignoring trends you don't understand, continuing when progress feels invisible. People will eventually call you lucky. They'll notice the freedom, the investments, the choices. What they won't see are the years nothing exciting happened, the years you kept showing up. That's the part no one applauds, but that's exactly where wealth is built. Don't compare the beginning of your journey to someone else's final result. Compare yourself to who you were 12 months ago, understanding you're spending better, saving more, consistently making less emotional decisions. That's already climbing, even slowly. You don't need to reach level 5 tomorrow. You only need to refuse to stay in the same place forever. One decision, one habit, one level at a time. So be completely honest with yourself. Which level are you living on today? Not the level you hope to reach, not the level your lifestyle makes people believe you've reached. Where are you really? Write your level in the comments and tell me what's stopping you from reaching the next. 1. Because your future doesn't change the day you earn more. It changes the day you stop, repeating the habits that kept you trapped. One day, people won't remember the car you drove. They won't remember the watch you wore. They won't remember the clothes you bought. But you'll always remember whether you owned your time or spent your entire life selling it. And remember, the goal was never to reach level 5 overnight. The goal was simply to refuse spending your entire life stuck on level 2. Because in the end, the richest person isn't the one who owns the most things. It's the one who owns the most time. Because time is the only currency you'll never earn back.